Now, I know it seems like all I'm talking about on the channel at the moment is Ghosts of Tabor every couple days, but we've got some real insight and information into the development and porting process for PSVR2, some of the challenges they faced, and kind of an insight of where we're headed with Ghosts of Tabor, because we know it's probably going to come out in the next couple of weeks when the wipe happens for the game, because essentially for an extraction shooter like this, every now and then there's a wipe, you know, every 6 months or so, every 4 months, everybody's inventories will get reset and you'll start anew, you'll be able to start fresh and go on raids, get loot, and that cycle repeats, and it'll probably be that time of the wipe where the PSVR2 version of the game launches to sync up for everybody. But I was contacted by one of my viewers called BThink, so thank you to them for pointing this out. And then I investigated a little further in the Ghosts of Tabor server, where Infish, one of their developers, talked about the porting process to PSVR2, and yeah, some of the challenges they faced and where it's at essentially. Now, a lot of this is under NDA, so they can't say too much, which leaves quite a bit up to the imagination for us to kind of decipher, but it's interesting nonetheless to take a look at, so let's do it. Before we do that though, we've just reached 10k subs, and that is a crazy number, and thank you all for the support since then. It's been just amazing to watch everything blow up in terms of people joining the channel and saying hello and subbing, so thank you very much, and if you'd like to subscribe, that would be much appreciated. Anyway, let's take a look at these screenshots. Even before we do that again, I have to pause my little rambling once more, because today, just 2 hours before this video goes live, they have confirmed on the Twitter of Ghosts of Tabor that the game is coming soon. Probably this month. It's now wishlistable, so we're almost there. Yeah, so it's confirmed the release is coming imminently. Anyway, let's get back on to the screenshots for development. First of all, the least exciting screenshot is Infish talking about whether or not they can talk about who is porting the PSVR2 version. They say they don't know if that's under NDA, but they'll err on the side of caution, which is fair enough. But they can say they've done many PSVR ports and know the PlayStation ecosystem and how to deal with Sony better than we ever would. Now, I think originally they said that Perp Games might be handling this. I don't know if they still are. I don't think they still are, and I think that's mentioned in some of the later on screenshots, which we'll get into. But honestly, I'm not sure who would be behind this port. I'm trying to think of studios in my head now. We've got studios like Vertigo and a couple of others. Could be Vertigo, who knows? But we'll see. The user speaking to Infish also says, speaking of which, I've heard from Kara that they're hesitant to allow Ghosts of Tabor on the store. Infish then replies, yes, nobody likes Sony, nothing new under the sun. They want to arcadeify the game, and we're going to think of creative solutions to satisfy Sony without actually impacting gameplay. Now, I'm a little confused what arcadeify means in this sense. I don't think Sony would really impose any rules on, you know, the immersion in terms of the actual mechanics of, say, reloading or managing your ammo and things like that. So I'm slightly confused what this means. Nothing really stands out to me in Tabor as something that would kind of raise up a red flag to Sony. It's a pretty gameplay-wise standard shooter. I was thinking maybe it's the raid timers that's a little weird, but we have games like Hunt Showdown and Vigor on the PS5, so they're similar loops with raid timers and open raids that you go into and out of. Could be the proximity chat, but then again we have Pavlov that has that sort of thing. Could be the reloading mechanics and, you know, the individual bullets and the storage and the loot. Absolutely no idea. I know there was one incident a little while ago with Vertigo 2 where I think Perp Games, or the developer behind Vertigo, said they had to make it so that the vehicles rotate around the player rather than the player rotating with them. That's one of the differences you'll find between the PS5 and PC version of Vertigo 2, saying like the dropship segments where you get picked up by Brian and you man the cannon. The ship will rotate around you when it makes a turn instead of taking you with it, and we've seen similar things in Gran Turismo where you're not locked to your car's horizontal axis. When the car tilts, you'll stay straight. That seems to be a bit of a requirement from Sony to alleviate motion sickness for the player, which I think is a little weird to impose on developers, but what can you do? Maybe it's a similar thing here where it's something that could cause motion sickness, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. The closest we actually get to an answer here is in the next screenshot. Wenoski asks, what does it mean to arcadeify a game? As I asked. It's all good, I understand. That last bit was to Infish saying that a lot of it is under NDA, and honestly, it's completely fair enough. There's a lot of hurdles to tackle when porting to a platform that's owned by a company like Sony, especially for an ambitious game like this one. But Infish replies, think Call of Duty instead of Escape from Tarkov. Less realism, more arcade game. Yeah, again, still not quite sure what this means, but it is under NDA, so all we can do is guess. But I am 100% hoping that we get the closest version of Ghosts of Tabor to the PC version that we possibly can. I just don't really understand why Sony would impose a rule to kind of handicap a game coming to their platform. It's very, very weird, and I'm hoping that it doesn't impact it too much. We do get an answer to who's publishing the game though, not porting, as Infish says Perp never really started publishing Ghosts of Tabor. It was planned that they would do the PSVR2 version of the game, but as that got delayed by a year, their publishing of the game ended up being cancelled, and Beyond Frames will do the publishing instead. So we have a company that's doing the publishing, we know is doing that. It's Beyond Frames. They published quite a few games like Mixture, One's Alliances, Down the Rabbit Hole, Arcanade, and of course, yeah, Ghosts of Tabor. They handled the Pico, Meta, and PC publishing, so they're in safe hands here. And hopefully with a publishing company like that behind this, they're going to try and ensure that everything goes as smooth as possible for the launch, and I am very excited for it. So that's the information we've got about Ghosts of Tabor at the moment. As the teasers on Twitter have alluded to, we are getting closer to it now, the launch of it on PSVR2, and the wipe is coming up, so the stars are aligning for this launch. But I'm very, very curious to see what this arcadified version of the game will look like, if it is that drastic at all. I don't think it will be, to be honest. I think that it will be a couple of small changes, like with Vertigo, with those moving vehicles that turn around you and not take you with it. It'll be little things like that, I think. But overall, I think they've confirmed that the servers will still be cross-platform, so you'll be playing with Quest and PC. So ultimately, they can't change the gameplay too much to give one platform an advantage over the other. So I think we are safe here and gonna get the best version that we possibly can on the platform. Here's hoping that the porting studio can also make the game look great and run great with no hitches or bugs or crashes or anything like that. Anyway, are you excited for Ghosts of Tabor? I am. Hopefully this will be the last time we cover it until it comes out, because I know a lot of you are calling it Ghosts of Snore in the comments because it comes up so often, but I promise this is the last time unless we get some big breakthrough news about it. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Thank you to our patrons and YouTube members Luke Bentley, Phil Irving, Hazit Mirza, Ace Gamer, Hippie Pickle, Jin007, A License to Chill, Sun WCF, Piosco, and Fat Controllers. If you want to join the Patreon or YouTube membership, all of those links are down in the description below, along with the link to our Discord, which is free. So thank you for watching once again, and I'll see you all in the next one.